Michael and Dr. Don here with Kids Are Talking. We have a show coming up tomorrow, Thursday, August 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It's a continuation of last week's episode, The Effects of Mental Health. We have a new panel of kids coming, and we're excited. It's going to be, I think we're going to have a deep dive into mental health. We have kids coming from all different angles and different things that have been affecting them. But we're going to break down barriers and hopefully break down the stigma of mental health. Right, Don?
Yeah, the mental health, we all saw what happened last week. That's a show that nobody should miss. As a matter of fact, all the kids are going to be asked to watch last week's show to talk about it in this week's show. COVID is getting big again. 4.2 million kids in the United States have COVID. There's a thing called long COVID. Long COVID is there are kids that have lingering mental health issues from this. There are so many different journeys.
That's right. It's affecting the brain, not just the respiratory system.
Yeah,
right?
And fine motor. A basketball player can't do his basketball. And what does that do to his mental state? All these 4 kids, just like the 4 kids from last week, have their own journeys they're on. Their stories, again, where is mental health for teenagers and young people right now in this country? What are we doing about it? What are the struggles? Are they common? Are they different? We learn a lot from hearing their journeys, just like we did in the show last week. And I just think that there's nothing more important right now than mental. Like, for instance, we were talking the Olympics. If Simone Biles had a physical injury, it would have not been controversial at all. But because she had mental health issues, it became controversial. So right now, the reason why we're doing this again is because so many kids want to come on the show now and talk about their journeys with mental health. We learned so much last week, didn't we?
And yeah, don't you feel like mental health issues can have even a stronger negative impact on your physical well-being sometimes than physical health issues have, right? So physical, you hurt yourself or you get a cold, you can get over it, a couple days, maybe a week. Mental health has long-term effects. It's almost, it's like you were saying, like COVID, it's long-term.
It's actually called long COVID. There's long-term effects of COVID. It lingers. The mental effects linger.
And these are things that you can, I think, don't you find you can learn to cope with them, but you never truly get over them, right? Isn't that don't mental health issues stick with you for life? It's something that you have to
learn how to adapt through therapy. Medications are so good now; they're so sophisticated, and you also learn how to adapt through therapeutic skills or interventions. But it is something that you have that maybe sometimes part of your core, and you learn to figure out how to deal with it. But the mind-body connection is important.
Isn't our objective partly here at Kids Are Talking to help people recognize that they have a mental health need and to help them figure out ways and tools that they can use to address those, things that they can take home?
Yes, I think also that what we're seeing is a lot of these kids just want their story told to be heard, to feel that they're not alone. And for parents who are watching the show to hear more about what some of the signs and symptoms are, because they're not going to necessarily know how to be educated about that type of thing. And they can learn from these kids because their own kids perhaps aren't going to be comfortable revealing what's going on with them.
Right.
So there's a lot of different aspects to what we're doing on the show.
And I thought it was very important last week when Angel said that she had someone had come to her school and spoken, and it inspired her to start on her journey of getting, better mental health. And we are here on Kids Are Talking, bringing these kids' voices forward in the hopes that their voice will inspire other kids to help heal themselves on their own individual journeys.
What I like about mixing the ages, and we saw it on last week's show, is that you have an older Kids Are Talking guest and a younger one. And sometimes it's the older one is kind of feeling compassion, empathy for the younger one, like Angel, as Jazz did, because she perhaps was watching her own childhood all over again, her own inner child. And she was able to really be empathetic because she saw a lot of what Angel was talking about. And I think it kind of helps her as well to relive and reinforce some of the things she went through, even though she's through those things already. And Angel's still going through them because she's a younger person. So we've learned to mix the ages on the show. That's been, I think, a really enlightening thing, is that we can put high school kids with young adults in college, and we can even probably start bringing in middle school kids with high school kids, and even I think even middle school kids could relate to some of the things that some of the young college kids are talking about. So kids are talking is kids, and kids nowadays is not just what we think of kids. Kids is a wide range of ages. People are taking longer to grow up now. It's a different world. And so it's a much more generic word for all of you who sometimes struggle with what kids are talking really is.
Well, we're all kids at heart,
We're
right?
all kids at heart. And we've all been kids, and we've all traveled the kid route, even if we think we're not kids.
I think part of being a kid is just being at a point where you're still growing, learning, and developing. And all of us are still doing that throughout our lives, right?
I don't know. Every time there's the inner child is in all of us. And
the inquisitive child, right? That's what kids are talking is about. It's about asking and learning and inspiring other people.
And who isn't struggling with mental health? Suicides are rampant now. Mental health, as I've talked about, is you can't even get a therapy appointment. You can't get into the emergency rooms. And it is, in my opinion, the strongest and most important issue in America right now. So tune in, because this is part 2, and it will probably be an extension of what we did last week and just get into some more depth of other kids' journeys at different stages of what they're going through. And so we're really looking forward to, again, getting these kids to come on and be open about what they're experiencing, so all of us can learn once again what is going on the inside ride, the inner world of the young mind of this country, which we need now.
Yeah, so it's tomorrow. It's Thursday. Once again, Thursday, August 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It's also going to be archived, obviously, on our Facebook and our YouTube pages. So we welcome you to watch, comment, participate. If you have questions for our panel, please put them in the comments, and we try to bring those onto the show when we can, if they're applicable and appropriate. Or just reach out to us, and we'd love to hear from you. So kids are talking, and we hope to see you at the show.
Mind and body are one.